Great, Maureen.
And then we also will go to the broadcast room here. And there it is. So, hi and welcome everyone to Magnificent Minds with beautiful Meher and Maureen. And we are waiting for Reshma to join the room here. And hi, how are you?
Feeling great.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having us, Eva.
Oh, this is a pleasure. I had so much fun last time we got together, and yeah, I was high on energies, if you're allowed to say that, for a quite a bit actually. So I'm looking so forward to see what we are going to process today.
Yeah.
So there has been a lot of things going on, girls, right?
Yes.
So who
Right.
wants to start?
Yeah. There's a lot of transformative energy that's going on right now. That's in the environment. I'll very quickly run you guys through the astrology, but we're in we just had the Pisces new moon, which was extremely transformative. It was also a time of Shivratri, which is celebrated once a year in India, the day of Shiva, who is the primordial transformation god. And the world is also going through its own transformation. So I keep getting karmic lessons. And when I checked into the astrology, I'm going to talk a little bit about the impending conflict situation because it's on everybody's minds, whether we want to think about it or not, and whatever is going on with Ukraine and Russia. And I looked at Putin's chart, and interestingly, he's going through his own karmic lesson. He has Saturn in his 12th house, and he has North Node in Aquarius, South Node in so when and in Leo, and what that means is he's so used to like being in the public eye and roaring like the lion and being the leader, and his lesson is to understand how to be in unison with the collective in the Aquarian age, literally. Like that is one of his lessons, and it's such a big karmic lesson which he's on the brink of learning. And depending on what he does with that, it will affect a lot of the collective, and that's like karma that I wouldn't wish upon anybody that I know, you know. But just looking at him with that eye of, instead of being the perpetrator as like just a human learning his own karmic lessons, as we all are, transforming, growing, and doing that, and then sending him light, because that's what we came here to do. When the 144,000 volunteer souls came from Venus, every time the earth is going through a transformation, they always came with the same message, that it's only through love that we win any war. Like otherwise, an eye for an eye is going to make everyone blind, and where do we end up? So this part of sending compassion and love to not just him, but all the leaders of the world, because they make most of the decisions, and collectively, this collective energy is much stronger than we actually think. Our own thoughts are so strong, they manifest. So imagine if we all collectively send that light to the leaders to be able to make the right decisions, because they're only human after all, and they have the same charts as we do. And just looking at it from that perspective, instead of like through anger as to what the hell are you doing, um and then there is always two sides to the coin and the lesson. So Ukraine's independence chart actually has their north node in Capricorn and their south node in Cancer, which means that their lesson is to break free of their codependent parent that they've been with. And that's very interesting, because it's like they're so used to being in that comfort zone, and not used to, but they've been doing that. And their sun is Virgo. They're very mild, hardworking, collective with the attitude of servitude. Very, very good. Just mild people, and to kind of stand up for their voice, and even have their own language. And remember that and bring that forth is part of their lesson. So there's two sides, and they're both playing out their lessons. And we all know how that is, because this particular moon in Pisces, which is the sign of death and rebirth, has been bringing us all to our shadow side, to our lessons. And there's so much Neptunian energy this whole week, and the lessons we learn are best as we go inward, and we divinate. So this is such a good time to get together, have these gatherings, do your prayer circles, divinate. And because Neptune can also otherwise kind of deceive and bring thoughts which are not, for the highest good. So you want to tap into her higher octave. And so it's no coincidence that we're gathering again here today, but I just wanted to throw that little piece out there with the astrology. And
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think it's important that you are reflecting the micro and the macro, what's going on the inner side of you and what's happening outside of you, because that is a reflection of the whole world. As it is above, so below. What's outside reflects on the inside and vice versa. And there has been a lot of meditation going on too, in groups, and I know that you have been doing some too, Meher, and that is to provide the light, and that is a choice, and reflects your intention and energy, and we are connecting with each other when we are doing these intentionally gatherings, whether we are alone or we are together. We are still in a collective when we are sending out our energies. So it's definitely for me a huge time now to be aware of what I'm thinking, but also to reflect upon how others are presenting their ideas and how they think about things that are going on, and not to end up in this hateful or judgmental state of mind, because that won't benefit a higher timeline for any of us. We need to actually be in our heart. We don't have to approve, but we won't be in a negative state of mind. We are focusing on the light there. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, did I cut you off, Maureen? Please go ahead.
No, you were just we were both, I was thinking the same thing when you were talking about just being so aware and present with my thoughts, or the guidance that what we are thinking, we're creating or putting out to assist the collective, however those thoughts may be. And so watching them, and deciding how to acknowledge all that's there, but come at it from more of a overview and with compassion, yet not feeling that you're going to save everyone by taking on all the same emotions. Is that like, the like I think that we can actually serve others more so by being supportive and in a way that you're nurturing them, but you don't have to feel all the fear and feel the rage, unless that's something that you're moving through to yourself, is that you can support through the love connection, sending love to all, that all parties may be open more of their inner spark of light and grow outward and expand. And so what we're thinking about, even though we have all these big things that are showing up in our world, but it makes a big difference on how we present and feel within our hearts day to day, and to those around us, our kids, our family members, and how if we're holding so much stress and worry, it's not assisting. I think that it'll help raise, in doing those meditations or doing those just even collective intentions at a certain time, or even individually, every single person is making a difference. regardless of how they're choosing, they're making it different, you know. So same things you are, just in a different way. But that's what things I've been thinking about lately.
No, absolutely agree with you on that, Maureen. The whole thing about this is that a lot of times when an impending situation which looks larger than life to us presents itself, and then we go, our immediate response is to go into the fear mode, right? We've all done that individually for our things when it comes down to survival. So, and so this message is really to tell the collective that, guys, all of your thoughts are powerful and they matter. Each and every thought matters, and the way manifestation works, that, and it's a law like all the other laws, is that all the collective thoughts are adding up to the final outcome. And if you put fear in there, then fear is also manifesting. So whenever we're in this phase, oh, is this going to happen, not happen? And if you're really focusing on it, where your attention goes, your energy goes, and you're sending collective energy that way. So just like we do that through prayer, we're also doing that with every thought that comes through. And I'd like to, if that's okay, maybe just do a very quick guided thought process, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
So how about we all just focus and close our eyes and take in a deep breath and just drop into our heart spaces. And we do that by either putting our hand on our hearts or just drop our consciousness from the head to the heart. And when you are fully inside your heart spaces, connect with your higher selves. And now we would like to call upon the higher selves of all of the leaders of the world. And as you visualize them coming in front of you, we're going to start finding the light that's in the center of your heart. And on a deep breath, expanding this light, making it big so it becomes as big as your room. And now making it even bigger so it goes to your entire city. And then making it big enough to reach the higher selves and the hearts of these leaders. And then we ask for all of our guides that are working in the light to send their lights to them. So feel the light pouring over them through their entire chakra system, and the light coming through your hearts, pouring and surrounding them. And we call in all of our galactic brothers and sisters that work in the light to also send their light, assisting in this process right now, to form a giant cocoon of light surrounding all of the leaders of the world, all of the people who have power and influence in making decisions that impact the many. We ask for their transformation of their cells and their DNA and their thoughts towards the light, so that their actions are such that they're in accordance to divine will in all species of life on earth, to allow for Gaia to transform, but in a way that is best for everyone. Because as we transform through the age of Aquarius, we can still choose how the transformation happens. And we ask for this transformation to happen in a way that is best for humanity, best for all of the other species, best for the animal and the crystal kingdom and the plants and Gaia herself. and in accordance to divine will, so that Gaia may continue to be on her path of ascension and not be thrown behind. We ask for their minds and their thoughts to be in congruence with this important intention. And we ask that as they learn their karmic lessons, they be assisted, that if they are warriors, that they work for the light, that all of their energies be directed towards the light. And then slowly and steadily, when you feel comfortable, come back to your higher selves and your bodies. And then come back to your body fully in this present moment, in your rooms or wherever you are. Knowing that your intention is going to continue growing, and the guides will now continue to assist. And we thank you so much, all those that are assisting Gaia at this point. And we know there are so many of you. Thank you. Thank you for all you do. And the least we can do is add our own positive thoughts to it. So thank you.
I share some light codes today to help assist us in processing, integrating light for the highest good of all and most benevolent outcome.
Thank you so much. It was
Okay.
really... Oh, sorry.
Oh, Eva, is it all right if I speak some
Yeah,
light language?
absolutely.
The moment it's wanting to come through to assist us all with so it sounds as light sound and words, but try not to focus on translation. The open heart, yourself, love, and just what you intuitively receive for alignment, balance, and that of Gaia and for your good. Tamiane leante toyonoya, toshayane leana kolodoya, bokodoya mane. Leana koya mana yane leana koshaliante bokodoya male yane yana. Tolia shayanaya mokolone bakatayanea. Eliana kashaya ne no koyomo koleane bakare. Salianda toya moleanda kolona kashalane helane. Sale udaban. Saya da kashane leana podoya mashaya. Leana koleane pokodoya mane. Saya shane leana toyo noya leante pakaliante leante hayana. Saya tokoya. Aliana shayane liana koya mone bokone liane. Sashariante holianta. Kaleshiana. Kolikatianti anyane helione. Taliana kosholiana hoyomone bakaya liane he. As we each serve peace, we rise. We rise together. Kosapakane, taliante tayone pokodoya. Shale radayane liana ko. Halia nataya naya nakaya no kolia. Shaladatayana. Holia shayane liana hoya mone. Kaleata tayane he. Sorio dokotoya maliane shayanea. Mosamane. Seya shane liane pokole. Liante shanayana. Oyopo. And just a deep breath out. Releasing down through your feet. The core of Gaia. Dasapakane liane kolione saliane. And just strengthening that pillar of light source. Desashatarine kashayaneya. Oshonone haya. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen, and wonderful, wonderful guides. They always come through and assist. hard times with me. So I just wanted to say thank you to
Thank you. Thank you both for making this space for our emotions and for our future outcome. Because that is where we are going with this. And as I can say, it's not that we are requiring that we should go into meditation each day, even though it's a beautiful thing to do, but just be aware of what you are presenting out there, what you are giving out in the way that you are and behaving towards other people, and of course mind your thoughts, and remember that we are creating in this now. And I'm quite amazed how the whole world has stepped up actually during this crisis and engaged with fully their hearts, engaging in what is taking place. And in some way you can say everybody is taking a responsible action for what is going on in you know, in the way of preventing needs for Ukraine, for example. Now they are sending a lot of money and a lot of stuff there, and it's not just a neighbor countries, it's a global event. So obviously we are in some kind of shifting mood, that we are actually reaching out to the whole collective, and that feels so good. It really feels good, because that is for me a way of confirmation that we are moving into a higher dimension in our awareness with our consciousness, just being conscious about what is going on and what's happening. So you recognize it? Do you
Yeah,
agree?
I absolutely agree with what you're saying right now. There is like this global consciousness around it. Like almost every day I'm in a prayer circle and everyone has that intention. You know, these days like everyone's keeping their personal intentions behind and just talking about this. And there is a reason. So Eva, if you don't mind, I'd like to like refer to that video I created about the age of Aquarius, the last equinox when we were all together on a call, and just kind of mention a little bit about that, you know, since we are in the middle of a 2000-year era shift, and you know, it's not to repeat it, but to kind of just remind that Gaia is undergoing different types of transitions, you know, and it is at this brink where we choose what types of transitions happen, and we choose after the transition what future it holds. So even for Gaia, it's the same thing. It's the south node is in Capricorn. All the big gigantic structures are going to fall in towards the north node in Cancer, towards the mother. You know, that's why everyone's talking about the divine feminine rising. It is very literal that, you know, the very paternal age-old structures are going to crumble to make room for heart-based things. Like when COVID happened, a lot of people who were stuck in very corporate jobs started looking into, you know, they had the time to think, what do I want to create, and come up with little of their own little heart-based businesses and you know, creations. So this is the direction in which Gaia is going. So there is restructuring that's going to happen. The most important thing I like to tell people is like those who want to stay in the old energies, that don't worry about the change coming, because the change is going to come. We're not trying to fight the change from coming. What we're trying to do is ensure that when, as so many timelines are in a flux and transitioning, that the change happens in a way that it is for everybody's best interest, that the change happens in the way so that it is for progress. And as each of us are undergoing, you know, if a lot of the shadow side is coming up for some people, you are simply undergoing a purge. You're simply undergoing a transition that you may not have had for many lifetimes. Because like what I look oftentimes when I read people's Akash and their astrology, and all of this is linked to their past lives, right? Is that they come with the same patterns and they repeat the same patterns again and again and get stuck. That's how we get stuck on earth in the karmic cycle, right? Otherwise, we would all have achieved moksha by now and not been here, apart from the fact that we come back to volunteer. But also, when we originally come, a lot of us came in as volunteer souls, but then we got stuck. So as we learn these lessons, these very difficult, life-changing lessons, we are also growing from timelines. Like we're shifting things that we haven't shifted for so many lifetimes, so they're not easy. And to top of that, we're dealing with a changing world, so yes, it's not easy, but just look at the growth, the immense growth that's happening. And if you need assistance, reach out, right? That's what we're here for. That's why we clear the Akash. That's why we give astrological remedies. That's why we're in Desert Light Language. That's why Reshma does, we are doing this. We're here to assist, but reach out, but don't get dejected. Don't be like, wow, oh, this world is so difficult. How am I gonna, work in this? You just don't, that's not that energy. Each person that gets dejected, each person that lives in fear, that adds to the collective fear. We want to diffuse each and every timeline of fear, because we only keep the highest probability in mind for all of us. And if you're not sure what that is, just keep saying that it be in accordance to divine will, and it be to my and my family's or my loved ones' highest interest, because you get to pick yours too. So there is an advantage to the timelines being in flux. The advantage is that you get to choose, So yeah, I see that Reshma's here.
Hi, ladies. I apologize.
Oh, you're welcome now.
Yes, would you please tell me quickly what was just
Yeah.
what was done? Sorry.
We went through the astrology. We went through the sending light to the leaders, and Maureen did some beautiful light language, and then we were just talking about how to focus on the highest timelines.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So I would like to say hi to everyone, and I hope everyone is doing well. I woke up with this dream that I would like to share with everyone. Okay, in my dream, I was actually pregnant, but in my pregnancy, I forgot that I was pregnant. And I was doing all these bad things, like drinking alcohol, fasting, like not eating, doing all these weird things, and just being, I was feeling very weird. Like I had this big belly, but what's going on? And it's like a memory came back to me that it was like, you're pregnant. And I was like, oh, I'm pregnant. And I started feeling really bad that I have a baby growing inside and I'm not doing the right things. Why would I forget this? And the most amazing thing happened as I was sitting and thinking about it. The baby that was in my belly kind of like swooped down and was like resting on my thigh. And I was able to pick the baby up, like from my womb, like still inside of me, but hold it. And I could feel the baby. I can feel the baby breathing, and the baby was still there. It's like I had hope. I didn't ruin my child. And my mother was there. And I said, Mother, Mom, what do I do? I've been doing the wrong things. I forgot I was pregnant. And now I'm remembering that I'm pregnant. Is it too late? And she said, now that you know, you can do better. And everything will be fine. And in that dream, I heard 8 months. I was 8 months pregnant. And when I woke up, I said to myself, well, what was that? Was that something that I just disregarded? It's like a cuckoo dream? but it wasn't. It was one of those, message filled dreams. And what I came to understand is that was Mother Earth talking to me, that she's pregnant, 8 months pregnant, and she's about to give birth. Don't forget what you have to do. Don't forget to nurture. Don't forget to do the right things for yourself, for your hope is here in my birth. The birth that I'm, the labor, birthing in new earth.
Wow.
Thank
Wow.
you.
I need to comment here.
Yes.
I totally love it when you're just coming live here talking about this dream, because I got chills on my arms, goosebumps. But for me, it's a confirmation about what we were just talking about and what you said, Meher, that the feminine is rising, the earth is rising. She is the mother goddess, and that aspect of she's rising, and we are taking responsibility for the way we are acting and how we are presenting ourselves into this world, and not to worry about what you have done, but what you are going to do with the information now that you are aware. So wow, love it.
You are so in sync. Oh my God. And what a beautiful metaphor for that. And so true. It's that literal, like when you're pregnant, you take care of your body. What you feed is what feeds Gaia. It's so literal. Like each of us are so important. Each of our thoughts throughout the day are so important that, yeah, we need to. Thank you, Reshma. And thank you,
You're
guys.
welcome.
Stories for ourselves, then we're it just allows us to be more creators. We are the ones that have responsibility for how we're acting, not only but then think
Um,
that things aren't happening to me or the choice react in a moment.
You're breaking up there.
Yeah, the sound is breaking up.
Yeah,
yeah, I wasn't sure if
up
it
to you.
was me or you all
It's
could hear.
okay here, but that any it must be a connection. Can you hear me?
Much better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I was just saying it, like in our choice in every moment to how we're going to react, interpret, choose forward gives us that's what we're where we're supposed to be. That's in our own creator source. Uh, we're all aspects of source, and when we own that creator energy, that that the world isn't just happening to me, then we can look and take care of ourselves better and realize that whatever we're doing also for higher feel not only
I'm
we're
so
going through that
sorry.
individually, but it's connecting us. No, I'll just be
Much better than before, but just maybe
Yeah,
a
but it was
little
still,
louder. If you want to come maybe closer to the microphone, just a little louder.
yeah. I don't know what's going on. I don't usually have
Oh,
a
much
problem.
perfect. This is perfect.
So you're gonna really see me. So I'm not sure what you heard and didn't hear, but I was just speaking to that. Even though we're focusing within on how we're going to be, how we move through each feeling or allowing the flow in the day to our own decisions, and how things aren't happening to us, they're happening with us, and we're moving. Those are our lessons. Then it also connects us outwardly more because then we figure out that everything is is connected. I don't know if I'm expressing that quite the way I want, but anyway, I found it's just very empowering, and at the same time, you're not being selfish. You're taking care of yourself so that you can nurture others and the world in a higher vibration and a more peaceful space.
Absolutely. No, this makes perfect sense, Maureen. You're talking about like the connectivity of the morphogenetic field, right? Like all of the connections, like we're not separate. It's so if the age of the Aquarius is all about coming together, like, groups coming together, all of us bringing our forces together for Gaia. And you must have seen that happen all over, right? Like Eva, you started this, and like it's this connection. And it's not just about that, each of our individual, like how our bodies are connected, right? We can say, okay, if the heart stops, the rest of the body is going to work. And everything, if you see this network of connections everywhere, that builds this web, just like we talk about the World Wide Web, it's like the network. We're talking about this network of positivity that happens through each person taking care of their bodies, minds, and souls. And so we absolutely get what you're saying. It's very important, and in congruence with Reshma's dream, where it's like you need to feed yourself so your child can actually, nourish, and it's that important for all of those most empaths. We have grown up taking care of everybody but ourselves, and the biggest lesson we're all learning right now, myself included, is of self-love. And like how you direct all of that energy that you're always giving out. It's like when you look at your energy field, it'll look like it's so scattered everywhere, and we need to like pull it back in. So let's do this. Let's pull it back in. So how about we all just close our eyes, take in a deep breath, and then call. We now call upon all of our subtle bodies, all of our energies, all of the fragments of our mind and our soul that we may have left anywhere in any time and space, dimension and reality. We pull and call them all back to our self now. And as they come back to us, we see them being washed and cleansed through a screen of light. And then we breathe them back into our hearts and into our bodies and ground it into ourselves, so that our energy can become full and 100%. And as we remember who we have been, we call upon all our power sources, all our power lifetimes, the timelines when we have been powerful and influential and done work of light. We call in all of those timelines to merge with our higher self. And we ask to be conscious of that, so that we may understand how our power works, and our own unique power brings the right assistance that Gaia needs right now. Because it's through each of us coming into our full power that Gaia comes into her full power. So it's not selfish. All of those are the old stories, the conditioning. Release that. You are allowed to be self-centered to the extent that you love yourself. And you can only give through an overflowing cup, not from an empty cup. Breathe all those fractals in and integrate it in every cell and DNA.
Kaliana Kodoya Moshaya Ne Lian Kolo. Ale Kachaya Noy Mokolona Bakashaya. Deshiane Liana Kolo Noya Mona Bakashaya. Alias Son. Kaliana Kina Kolona Kashaya Ne Kolon. going your soft, respect of the love about them own just their us judge our position to hold how they experience their Kisayandeli ana kolo ele. Tasayandeli ana kolo dogaya neli ana kolo doya neli ana hayana. Ay kaya neli ana kosheli ana ho. With your own frequency, work yourself, give up, and that light within. Hayane hoyane hoyonoya. Hayaneli ana koya malianaya na hoya. Shayanai. That word Pokodayane. Hayane leana koya mokoleanda ho. Hayata kayandai yana leana hayana no koyo mo hashayane. I heart broke. Tuta pokotayana hayane leana hay hayane leana hoya mo na ba. Kashayana hayana hayana hoya. This pasapare kayane koleone sayana dayane hoyama. Koledakaya nakaleane kashan. A lot going on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen. Truly felt that activation. Thank you to you and your guides for this.
Yes, thank you. I actually saw like light swirling from the outside coming in and going out the back of the heart center.
Really, it just feels so expanded
Very.
right now. And
Yeah.
everybody feels that, but it's just surging for me right now. Yeah.
For sure. Thank you. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you.
This is beautiful. And yes, this is why the assistance, we welcome the assistance so much because each of us grow through this assistance. So please reach out when you need that. And Reshma, I just wanted to, unless you had something else to talk about, bring up this beautiful letter of forgiveness that you wrote, because
Oh,
that
yes.
frequency, you know, this frequency is something we need so much right now. And why do we need that? Every light worker, every time I go into a light worker's Akash, a volunteer soul's Akash, or even the astrology, we have wounds of, a lot of us have wounds of persecution and witch hunts and all of that in different ways, like even if you're just performing. Because the thing is, when you're trying to bring light in, you come from a totally different frequency. You came here to volunteer knowing very well that you're here to teach the others, which means the others are not at your frequency. But when we forget that and we expect them to be like that, and then they're not, then and then they are not either accepting what we have to say, or they're ridiculing what we have to say, then the anger comes through, right? And then a lot of us kind of act in that anger and may misuse our powers just to, in defense, or we may have lost our ability to speak up in public because we're so afraid because of those timelines, and all of that can be cleared, in these new energies, because we can drop that karma. And that's why the forgiveness is important, because we don't forgive them for them, but for ourselves. We forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. We were here to teach them, and we just need to release those old energies so that we can move on and continue sending the light. So this is such an important letter. Please, Reshma, this is beautiful. Go ahead.
Oh. Well, as we get on to that point, I realized how much it was involved in my dream, forgiveness. I had to forgive myself for forgetting so that I could move forward and take care, right? And it's just so massive. I even I'm constantly reaching out in my blogs or my little talks or quotes about being outside in nature, communing with nature, being with Mother Earth. That is so important, so much more important right now than any other time. I mean, we have to really look at the world like we're hovering above it and it's a show going on. And we're not part of it. We are not part of that show, but we're part of the inner works, right? Of what is happening, our inner works, Mother Earth's work.
To be an observer, you
Because,
mean?
huh?
To be an observer, to observe what's
Yes,
going on. Yeah.
observer, yes. Not to get emotionally involved, not to be, not to let the things take over us, because from that dream and knowing what this month is going to be like, uh, and all the messages that I've been hearing and seeing from others, the breakdown of our old reality is happening. So it's the labor pains. The labor pains before the new earth, the new world, what it is that we're bringing forward. So we have to know that this is going to happen, and we have to not be pulled down. Like, I remember us feeling like we were heavy when all of that stuff started happening last month, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we feel the weight, we understand what it is, but now we have to let it go, right? We have to remember to be the light, be light, observe. And another thing that came to me last night or the night before is there's a lot of people who have been wondering, what is their purpose? What is the reason for this life on this earth? Look at how the earth is, look what's happening on the planet. They're complaining, they're saying that it's like we're living in hell. A lot of people talk that earth is like hell with all the evil that they've seen and all the bad stuff that's happening. And they say, what is the purpose? Well, this is the purpose, for you to be awakened into your purpose of being love, of being light, of healing yourself, your past, right? Your past lives, the things that want to be healed, to heal them. As we heal Mother, right? As we heal Mother. And the more light that we become, the more light that we ground into Mother, the more we support Mother. So that is something that came to me. It's like, whoa, like all these people that have just been like, what is the point of all this? It's like, take a deep breath and you're in the place where you're supposed to be. Now find it in you. What is it that you really want right now? And a lot of people are going to say, I want peace. I want more love. I don't want any more starving children. I don't want money to be an issue. All these things, that's what you want. Now we were going to work on it. Call it in. That's your purpose. That's your purpose for being here right now. Seeing what it is.
Believe that you're like worthy of that. And I think
Yeah.
one of that what we run in sessions the most is, and with myself, is that these mindsets that, oh, I think I hold a belief that I'm not really worthy for that. And it may be subtle, but being able to acknowledge these things that we're setting limits on ourselves by just recognizing our thought patterns. It's not like I intended to block myself from financial abundance, but oh, here I had this concept that, oh, I have to always work so hard to achieve or whatever it is. Um, and so that was just, anyway, I wanted to just interject that can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, by acknowledging too those, it's not to block our feelings of that we might say are less than, but to see them and then feel them, but then not stay with them and release it so that you can say, that's not what I'm choosing anymore. And that's what we're experiencing. We're experiencing now what we may not want to choose anymore. I know I don't. I want to choose so much differently. And I'm really hoping everybody else does too. And to realize that we come full circle with what we put out in the world. And so
Yes.
if I'm always saying things will never change or it's lack and everyone's cruel and blah blah blah, it just eventually I feel it comes back to you. So let's
Yes.
love it, quit dividing everything to good and bad, and just I'm so
It
simplifying, but I said it's just
it
change.
is.
Just
Yes.
change.
Call it as it is. It
Yes.
is all. It is all what it is supposed to be,
Yeah.
and we
Accept and
love it.
acknowledge the darkness in you as much as you do the light, and sit with it and love it. And there are no parts of you that are not sacred. You are a sacred being. And yes, and these are things we carry. Like, I mean, it's proof. Like every time I open the astrology, it's like you see it, like, oh, we've carried this. And we understand that. But in the new energy, you get to drop it. That's the thing. You choose. This is your old story. You choose to flip that story. And whatever assistance you need is available. Just it's time to
Yes.
say I can do it and you will. And it is so there is literally your brain, it takes commands, the subconscious takes commands, and when you have that old story, it is operating out of that old story, and your subconscious can shift that command. It's and there are methods to doing that. That is why there is therapy, and that is why there is all these clearings but there are ways to start not it is time to start not thinking that way anymore, because it's your belief, your internal beliefs attract your external reality. Like many people are like, what do you mean, did I just attract this accident? And as much as I hate to say this, it's like, probably yes, because if you were thinking differently, even though it was in your transit, you could have avoided it. Or had you shielded that day, you could have avoided it. It's just a matter of that vibrational match of where you are vibrating and where something else in the universe is vibrating, and how that
Maybe those
it's
accidents are like or those things that happen that are not so pleasant is your self being put in a position to rock your usual go-to patterns, and then now you're looking and having to be in a way that you're not used to being in, so that you can release. Maybe you're doing it subconsciously, but you're releasing and changing in a shifting through that hardship, as you might say, so that you're like, might feel like it's your soul plan to assist when you weren't moving, to get you somewhere else that you're guided to be, that serves you better, even if it doesn't look like it at the beginning.
Mm.
That's what
Exactly.
And I think it's also
it's
time to
hard to look at
realize.
it that way, but I think that all of us have gone through things even in the last couple months that we can say that on the other side of it we've learned something from them. And
Yeah.
I don't know one family that hasn't had some kind of challenge trauma in some way. So yeah, that's just one of that.
And I just want to add before you are moving on, Reshma, that we have been talking about dropping into our heart right now in this moment, and and try to express whatever we are feeling and thinking from the depth of our heart, because that is the new way of dealing with it. But what many of us doesn't realize is that even if we are joking with love, and but we are using a certain language or a certain, you know, sentence, that is a vibrational frequency too. So even though you might think that you are not creating or letting that energy move out in the world, you actually are, because that is a word of frequencies. They have their own vibrational frequency, and they are affecting and adding to the collective thoughts too. So, and even though there are a lot of trigger points, because there are a lot of trigger points outside in the world, and you know, when you are talking, it's so much easier to go down into the negative talk, because that is where the emotion are easier to grab on than to hold these beautiful and love and light thoughts towards the world. And the point here is that even though you realize that you are speaking negative or are a bit judgmental, don't go down that rabbit hole. Just remember the beautiful dream Reshma had. You are aware of what is going on, which means that you can stop it right there, and you can change perspective and move forward with another thought at that moment. So no one is holding that against you. You just need to be aware of when and what is triggering you, and how to shift focus and drop that intention into your heart. Yeah.
Start
It's
again.
perfect.
Start again. Start again. Yeah.
It's a constantly
Perfect.
work.
Yes. Yeah, so with all of that, you know, we, in order to move on, a big weight that we drop is the way that we feel towards everything, right? In a negative way. Instead of looking at what's happening in a negative way, we look at it through love. But how can we go there? And that's where the letter of forgiveness came. I was trying to sleep, and these words just came to me, and I couldn't stop it. And it was so beautiful, and I tried to remember everything, but this is all that I could remember to write the letter of forgiveness. So here it is. This is something I believe a lot of people, if they listen and then say it themselves, or as they listen, they're saying it for themselves, will release a lot of pain, negative feelings, low vibration of what is happening, to kind of lift them up, right? And have a better feeling of love and understanding, unity and compassion for everyone and everything that's happening. Okay. To all beings of the dark, to all human beings of the dark, we forgive you. We forgive all who work with the dark to control humans and Mother Earth. We forgive all who work with the dark, who hurt our animals, our trees, our food source, our oceans, our skies, and our dear innocent children. We forgive all of the dark who created the lies and programs to control all life and Mother Earth. The show is over, the curtains are closed. We welcome the next act where the truth is told. We ask politely that you show us the cards you were playing. The game of bluff can no longer go on. You have no more chips. We forgive you. We forgive all who are with the dark. It's hard to play a losing game with the wishes of owning a great planet. It's just that, a wish. We welcome your apologies. We welcome you to the side of the light. We welcome all that you choose to do now for the greater good of all humanity. We have no need to point fingers and cause more war. Our friends and family in our skies from planets near and far are here supporting us and Mother Earth. The love light on the planet is so strong. All we can do is forgive you and help you move forward if you choose to go to the higher octaves. Again, we forgive you and we welcome your apologies. We welcome you to the light if you choose. The game is over, the show is over. We welcome heaven on earth. No matter what happens, this is true. Heaven is here and now. We call it in now. It is done. We forgive you. Oh, and I wrote, prayer to all who read this letter is that you lose the hate that you hold for the evil on this planet. The hate which holds the same vibration of the evil you despise. We don't win battles of any kind this way. Lighten your heaviness of hate, anger, fear, and even depression for the evil that you see on this planet. The only way to dissolve evil is with love. The one thing we all need right now is forgiveness. Forgive them, for they do not know what they do. They are all following instructions given to them by others who hold their life in their hands. They fear losing their own lives and other things. So sending them love and forgiveness will allow them to feel safe, that they can come down and ask for help, that they can give the bad guys to the good guys once and for all, and all can be free. Our existence as a free sovereign being shall be forever told. No more lies. We are free, we are love and light. We must exercise all that we have learned. Love is the answer to all things. Sending them love and forgiveness will allow them to feel safe so that they can come down and ask for help. We are free, we are love, we are light. We must exercise what we have learned. Love is the answer to all things.
Just
Sorry.
Very beautiful. And true.
You're welcome. I don't know if you have anything to say or add.
it's just so complete and so perfect.
Oh my gosh.
Really, like you covered it all, whether it's humans or whether it's other beings that are messing with our timelines, or whether it's, which happens often to light workers as well, as we see. So all of that, when we forgive the perpetrator instead of focusing on them and, sending them negative energy, which makes us negative, you just, I just don't want to engage in that frequency. That is not where I want my frequency to be. I choose to be on a higher frequency, and you guys can do it too. And give them the choice to convert into the light if they want to, because they also are souls and they can free themselves. Whether they choose or not is their problem. Amazing. Thank you, Reshma.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And there is also a curiosity for the future, and that is also in line with going down into your heart, and to be curious about what's coming. And the one thing that I'm curious about right now is if we are, and we all know that we are in the end games, so to speak, and when you said 8th month pregnant, that means like April?
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I can confirm that through the astrology. What's going on is, it's interesting because it all started with the harmonic convergence in the 80s when some of us were just children, but the graph of the shifts started in 2012, and it goes down to 2032, and it literally peaks around this time, the 20s. And this year specifically, we have like what's called the Kalsarpadosh in Vedic astrology. This particular month, which is the month of March, is like all the planets are in the tail of the snake between Rahu and Ketu, and a lot of planets. And so it is beginning. I mean, it's been preparing us. I mean, we've all been seeing the changes since like of the last few years, and each portal, like these days when on my YouTube I put up videos, it's almost like, every time there's a portal, like, and when it used to be years ago, it was not like that. Not every month, was like a powerful giant portal, there were equinoxes, there were all those cycles, but it's like we have many, many opportunities to upgrade so that we're not affected by the shift when it happens. Meaning that as we choose to be on our higher timelines, and we choose not to engage with the breakdown that's happening, right? And the fact that we are all here sitting in our homes or our cars or wherever we are listening to this, and not in the midst of running away from our homes because it's a war, there is so much to be grateful for, that you can choose today to be grateful for this life you have and really live it. And but yes, there is transition happening. It has been foretold, it is coming. The breakdown will happen. Do not panic when all your big financial structures crumble down, when it's going to happen, but it will be replaced by something, right? Like we all divinated last week, right? So all the ladies on this call know about that. So yeah, I mean, they confirmed that there will be some form of replacement, some form of, so it's just like brace for the ride, prepare for it, but do not fear it, because we're going to be okay in the end, and that's what counts. However, we're going to be okay. It's not about whether that bank balance will be a certain amount or not, because if the currency only doesn't exist, I mean, it's like, just be prepared that it will be the way it's supposed to be, and you'll be okay, because you are okay right now. You are listening, you are breathing, so, and that's how it will be. But yes, the impending change, we are very much in the middle of it, and it will continue.
Yeah.
And it seems that everything that we are talking about, coming back to the fact that you should not feel guilty about being in a state of mind where you are expressing your joy that you have inside of it. It is totally fine to have this energy of joy and happiness, even though the world is looking at it is in the moment. And the whole concept today have been forgiveness. That brings me back to what we have been talking about so much earlier, to let go of the past and release and let go and purging. And now we have moved on to forgiveness and the importance of forgiving ourselves for having these thoughts, for not feeling that we are good enough and that we are deserving. That seems such an important subject to talk about, and we have been talking about it because whatever you are addressing at this moment, you are all bringing up the same concept of idea. Don't feel bad inside, and forgive yourself for having destructive thoughts about your own worthiness, because that a lot of it has to do with worthiness, how I see it. If you don't believe in yourself and you don't believe that you are deserving to have a good life here, then you are co-creating in an opposite direction. You are not moving forward. And I can think that a lot of people still are in this state of mind where they are thinking like it's so easy for you to say, to, you know, be in that state of mind, being in your heart, just know that everything is fine. And I, I can almost sense that someone is thinking like, how am I supposed to do that? So can we give some examples on how we should forgive ourselves, and how, also concrete, no, not concrete, that's a Swedish word and that doesn't mean the same thing in your language. I have learned a hard way. Can we give some examples on how to actually forgive yourself?
Mm. Well, I'll start off with you need someone who is going to support you on that journey, because if you don't have it now, it's the reason you still live with that, you know, how can I, that means that your surroundings, the people who you associate with and who's around you, they're not supporting of what it is that you need. They're not giving you those informations like, you know, let it go, everything's going to be great. You don't have that support. So now you need to find a support, because it's not going to be something that it's easy to do on your own. You know, um, how I can say it is, that's why a lot of people are going online and looking for videos like, you know, like this, that can help them answer questions that they're having about healing whatever, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, whatever they're going through. Um, this is a time, if you know that you cannot forgive whatever and let go of guilt or whatever is holding you back, and you just feel like you're alone, this is the time for you to reach out to someone who is saying the things that match with how you're feeling, whatever you're going through. You know, I feel like that's what people really need, and that's why the internet, you know, the what we do here is so important, because a lot of people don't have this in their sphere of influence in their life.
To find a support group, someone to support your feelings and emotions. Yeah.
And that's why these lives you do are so important, Eva, because you know it provides support to those who are watching. So like that's what I mean. Each thing each person does every single day, just by being you. If you just bring a smile to your friends and family, it's enough. Just keep doing that. Whatever you can do in your own capacity. And every guided thought that comes to you, every little push and nudge that comes to you, like just act on it, because it doesn't matter if like just it starts with just one person listening, if that one person needed to hear it that day. So thank you for everything all of you do, all of you on the call listening.
I wanted to add that too, as far as moving through feeling stuck or feeling like nothing's ever going to change. Um, those ways, uh, but from the perspective or knowing that we alignment to prosperity or manifestation is closest to like the joy frequency, is my perception, joy and love. And if we're taking small steps in the day, when us have a lot of free time, but when we have our quiet moments, to choose for ourselves something that truly, even if it's very simple, brings you peace, brings you joy. If it is walking in nature, if it's doing a little bit of art, if it's some outlet where you're connecting outside of the environment that you're usually held in, in structure, and choosing for yourself an activity that nurtures you. This is a way that you can move and allow more space then to release and get new perspectives. Mm, but I do, and talking, that is true, that talking through with someone and understanding that, as I work with energy, assisting through moving energy through shot, for releasing and through the energetic body and the tuning with light language, I often find that sometimes we make things way more complicated than it needs to be. And I'm not saying that someone like myself is going to be a savior to you or fix you, but if you allow these people, these ones that want to assist and have the gifts to do so, sometimes it's as simple as the guidance comes through and we're moving energy and there's a bit of an insight, and suddenly that density that was held in that chakra, in that area of our solar plexus, our body, we have neutralized it, we have released it. And I know that's sort of what, as a energetically, I assist with that. And then a person can shift and come into a new line of thinking so much easier. And that's happened for me working with other people too. I think it's hard for me. Maybe I'm not explaining it quite right, but I just wanted you to know that um, it's not like you have to do years and years of therapy now. You can sit with one of us or anyone, that, and even have a friend that you just talk to, and something will happen and you can shift and heal. You just having the allowance and to say, I intend for more joy in my life. I intend for more love in my life. I have that now. And then you're brought to those people that you need to be with. My perspective. It's
You can say that you need someone to mirror your feelings back to you. So if you don't have a support group or any friend to talk to, you can actually use a mirror and look at yourself, look at your own eyes while you are expressing those feelings towards yourself.
Yes,
well, I know for
that's
myself,
like,
I was talking to told friends too that I don't know if everyone has experiences in their life, but it was really hard for me to, for a while there, to look myself in the eye, not because I had super dark thoughts about myself, but to look and say in a mirror positive things to myself was not easy. And I didn't think I judged myself that much. But then when that sort of suggestion was, oh, try this in the morning, or that, it wasn't, a few 4 years ago, that was very difficult for me to sit with it. And it took some practice to allow myself to really see through my own eyes and hear with my own words that I love you.
Mm.
You're, beautiful. You had a big, those kind of messages. See, it's even hard. So I still get teared up telling myself that. What does that say? You know, I just
yeah.
feel that intuitively, many of us don't nurture ourselves with our own words.
Well, that's definitely one of the things that I suggest for all people, going through massive trauma, is to do that mirror exercise. Look in the mirror, look at yourself in the eyes and say, I love you, whatever it is, I'm beautiful, all these things. And to journal. A lot of people don't want to hear that word journal. It's like a chore, but it's like when you have the time, if it's in the morning or if it's in the night, journal like what you're grateful for, journal affirmations that you wish to see in like your life, and journal like how you're feeling.
Also, even I found if I get into an overactive mind, no, like thinking about one particular thing a lot, if I just sit and write out all the random, crap stuff that I'm thinking at the moment, that I just, and it's energy and then it's get this out on the paper, and then I've written it, and this is all my concern, and then for me, then it's on the paper, and then suddenly I'm not carrying it, and I can go to sleep.
Yeah.
I don't get real busy mind anymore at night, but when there's times I still do, and that's what I'll do is I'll just start getting it out onto paper, and it really works for me. So that's
And by mirroring yourself, you're actually acknowledge your own feelings and your own self-worthing. I think that is why it's so hard to do that. I've heard it before. A lot of people have difficulty to look at themselves in the mirror, and especially look in the eyes and talk gently and nice to yourself. Is so much easier to have this attitude of being, you know, harsh and whatever. But just to be soft and gently to yourself brings emotions, because you're connecting with your source, your own soul. I am presence. You're connecting with yourself. That is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And if you're feeling hurt, you definitely need to forgive yourself. Um,
I have something to say, and I just don't want it to be, this is really deep what I'm about to say, and I wasn't sure if I should say it because the multitude of people that watch, where they are, but this, when I was talking about what we're going to be talking about, the more I go into everything, our forgiveness is directly related to Mother, Father, God, Source, right? This is to the beginning of time forgiveness. This is like what's happening on this planet, why we're all here, is affecting the whole universe. We are allowing Source, God, to forgive itself for all that he, she, God, Source created through the thoughts of I am that I am. Because as we said, those negative dark forces, they are us. Like, we're all one. Literally, we all come from the same Source God fractals of Source God, all versions of life in the universe. And Source wasn't knowing what Source was going to become through the thoughts of who am I? What am I? And Source has its own ego through those beings, right? Those other negative, dark forces. So we're helping Source, the creator of the universe, to heal its ego, to end the fight with Source, and to create heaven in this universe for all. And don't, I didn't want to be that, today, but I said it. And whatever thoughts you have, go on.
I think it's true what you're saying.
resonating with me. I feel Your balance.
If everything is origin from the same source, and everything is origin from the same source, even though it's positive or if it's darkness, and if there is purging, or if it's forgiveness, or if it's ego, whatever it is coming from the same source. So that is an expression in different fractals, as you said, throughout, playing out in this physical world. So yeah, we definitely are a piece of each other, and from a piece of the higher source. Yeah, I totally get what you mean.
Thank you so much, ladies, for this amazing panel. So much came through, and great for all of us coming together. Thank you, Eva, for making it happen.
Thank you for being here. Is there someone who has any final words to close this circle?
Just keep hearing, you are worthy, you are loved. Take that to heart. You are worthy, you are loved. You are worthy, you are loved. Liana Kaliana Poliera. May say Mayane Liana Koliana Bakasheli. No yo no koyanaya. Hayanai. Halino koyana hayana kolia shayane hoyonoyan pogoani hayanayana. Hashayaleni Kaliana Kolodoya Mariamane Holonoya. Sashayanani hayanana koliona kashiliana pokodoni kashani hea. Pokoto. So much love. You are held. You are held. You are always held. Recognize. Ask for help.
Thank you.
So we are officially closing down, and I want to like to thank everyone who has been here today, and who will listen into this later on. And thank you, Reshma, Lighthouse, and Maureen, Light Language, and Mahir.
Life.
Sorry.
Oh, I just said light language life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Mahir. I have a difficulty to sometimes
Totally.
express
That's
your word.
Bear wellness. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here, everyone, and looking forward to meet up with you all again. So
Thank you,
Yeah.
Eva. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you,
Love
ladies.
you.
love you. Bye bye. So